Okay, this is gonna be part 3 because look, I'm getting so many distractions while making this video, like all the noises in the background. I'm not even able to sit still because when I read this, I was so excited because I'm like, it's all coming together now. Like, it's all making sense. And I'm able to like pinpoint and decode, and that's like what I do, and I'm able to really break this stuff down. And the sun was coming out, and I was getting the praise of God. I was even getting different different psalms and everything, and I'm just like, I love you, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful. But and then my hand simply just deleted cut up the video. So I'm like, okay, I know there's some resistance going on with this video, and I know it's going to be a lot of hearsay or hearsay, so I'm only going to post it on my YouTube because I know this is truthful, this is some valid stuff. Okay, and so when it was talking about the Lion of the Judah, who are the chosen people who's going to rise up, they said all that brethren shall praise thee. Okay, they're the head, the king, the queens of this earth. They're supposed to be in the promised land. They're supposed to get all the jewels, and all the things are supposed to be theirs. It's for them, and they are going to be wearing robes and clothes and grapes and vines. They're promised all this prosperity, all this abundance. Okay, and that's exactly what the so-called blacks or African Americans of America are supposed to be at this time. But we are still going through the period. Read Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, where it tells about the punishment. They talk about the obedience of the Judas, the obedience, the punishments of almost all of the different tribes of Israel, and then also the fall of Babylon. And then it talks about the saving, God coming to save the people, also God being with the people, and the rewards and everything that happens after once we get back on the right path. So, and then we have the Zebolians, or the Zebulun shall dwell in the heavens of the sea, and he shall be for the haven of the ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. So that's Guatemala to Panama. And they said of the haven of the seas and the ships. That all through the Guatemala and the Panama. I'm not sure which sea that is, if that's the Atlantic or the Pacific, but all on that coast is like a abundance of ships and things like that, and it's really on the sea. So that made a whole lot of sense right there. And you don't hear too much bad about the Guatemala or Panama. It's a beautiful place to go. And so it really didn't say any type of negativity with them or any type of hardship. It just shows how they are, just right on the sea, and just like a peaceful haven for certain people and everything like that. And I know a lot of people do go there for vacation because of that, because of those qualities. And then Ishkar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens. And he saw the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and he bowed his shoulders to bear, becoming a servant unto tribute. So this is the Mexican Indians. It said he was a strong ass couching down. So he was a strong person. We know these Mexicans, they work hard. They work their ass off. Okay, they are very, very skillful, very, very family oriented, but they have burdens, which was the wall of Mexico, and also the border. That was one of their burdens, and also the sea, unable to move forward and to extend and to reach God's land or any other land. And then when they seen the land and they saw that it was good, the land America, they came over here, and we came to be prosperous or seeking a new life. But instead they were used as laborers or as servants for the enemy. We know when they came over here, they immediately began to work, and that's good for them because they needed that type of abundance. They needed that type of work to really start a new life and get out of the burdens that were in Mexico. However, they were also being used as their labor to work for the enemy and be paid small wages, and to still be put down and in the back of society when they are working hard to make better for their people. And then it said, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, and adder into the path, and the biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward and fall. So the Puerto Ricans is Dan, which it was Dan, but Ephraim, Joseph's second son, took over the land of the land of the Dans because of, I'm not sure why. I still have to read that part of the book. But from what I know of the Puerto Ricans, and a lot in 2016 and 2017, they were prosecuting. They said they were shall judge his people. So They're, very racist over there. Whenever there's light, it's light skin versus dark skin really down over there. The dark people, they are prosecuted for their darker skin, and the light people are treasured and, just honored and, just, treated more righteously. And then if they're dark, they feel like they have to bleach their skin just to get some type of favor. There was a couple incidents that were going on in 2016 and 2017 to where there were black couples who were going to Puerto Rico for vacation, and they were killed or came up missing, things stolen. So, it really was profound that they said that they shall be a serpent by the way, and in the path, and they bite at the heel. So, and they trying to move forward, getting closer to, trying to be more light skinned and everything, mating with the white man to try to get favor, or to try to, just have privilege, and condemn the darker skins, the chosen people of God. And because of that sneaky ways, it was like a serpent, and that didn't move them forward. It only moved them backwards, because their favor, God's favor, is not going to be upon them. The true prosperity and the earth and the heart of the land is not going to be for them because of that. And then they said they waited for the salvation of Lord, but they never received it. Okay, they're going to continue to just be waiting. And then it was Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. And the Gad was the American Indians, so those who were already in America, and the troops that came to overcome them was the pilgrimage, or the Romans, or the Catholics, and those who came over, those types of the white men who came over and stole the land of the Indians, and overcame them and everything like that. And because of that, put them into a slavery on their own land. But at the end of days, they should inherit the earth. Not the earth, because we all gonna inherit the earth. But they should inherit America, because this is their land, and they have different rights against the land. And even the American Indians were able to get their own different reservations and everything like that, and receive money because this is their land, and receive from their ancestors and everything like that. So that was really profound. And then they shall overcome in the last. So those who came first are going to be those who came first will have the last. Okay. So, and then out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. So that is the Colombia and Orgulla. I don't know too much about them. Maybe I should look up the bread in Colombia. Maybe their bread is very good, or their riches are very good, because they should be fat, and they shall yield royal density. There's a lot of different royalties in Colombia, and even in Orgulla, and just the whole islands altogether is very rich with beauties and dainties and royals and bread. So that was for Asher. And then Naphtali is a hen let loose. He giveth God goodly words. Okay, that's Argentina and Chile. They're very wild. They you can't tell them nothing. They're on their own way. And when I got the feeling of Argentina and Chile was just bringing me joy, and just they really, when I thought when they're in those dresses and they're dancing and they're springing with so much life and everything like that. So it's like a hen let loose. Like, you can't really tame them, you can't control them, because they're very pleasant and gively of goodly words. And then you have Joseph, and it said, is a fruitful bough, even fruitful bough by the well, whose branches run over the well, run over the wall. And the archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow above any strength, the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. For hence the shepherd of the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with the blessings in heaven, above blessings on the deep, and life under the blessings of the beast of the breast of the womb. And the blessings of thy father have prevailed, and the blessings of thy progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. And thou shalt be the head of the Joseph, and the crown of the head of him that will separate from his brethren. Okay, and that is the Cubans. So it was talking about all because Joseph's first son was Manasseh, and his descendants are the Cubans, and they had all this land because even Joseph and Judah was the two that had the most, blessings from God. And they were able to prosper very, very good, and they were able to prosper very good in Italy. And then it says, but they will be shot at. And it was when the mob started coming through and everything like that. So I felt like that was in relation to that. And then also when then they came, they had to leave Cuba and got separated and brought into America. They also was very prosperous with their businesses, the Cubans with their businesses and their jobs and everything, but it was still the mob against them. But still to this day they're still thriving. They have most of the businesses, the Italian restaurants, the different cigars and everything that they have prospered in is still staying very highly to this day. And even when Joseph went into Egypt, everything that was his downfall became his blessing, because he was able to take the honor of the whole Egypt, or was able to put tell people exactly what to do, or have the different rules. Pharaoh put him in charge of all Egypt at the end of the day. And so that was the Cubans have also prospered with their downfall, anything that was used against them. So I feel like that was very significant. And then they said the Benjamins were the West Indies, and I had a part of West Indies in me and my what's called ancestry. And it says, Benjamin shall raven as a wolf in the morning, and shall devour the prey at night, and shall divide the spoil. At their all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and that is that Father spoke unto them and blessed them, everyone according to the blessings, and he blessed them. So Benjamin, he said, will raven as a wolf. We all know that whenever you see the West Indies, they have the wolf, or the wolf is signifying as the Indies. That is their first animal. That is their animal totem, the Indians. And it said that they were raven as a wolf in morning, and it shall devour their prey. They were very powerful hunters, devouring their prey, and at night, and it shall divide the spoil. So they were divided by different Indians, going into different parts of the world, of course. However, they were still very strong culture, a very strong nation. And so that was just significant, and I was just like, wow, because every tribe was given to me. And I'm going to also show so you all can see, but right here where it says each tribe of Israel. And you know what, like, it's really no hiding from the truth now. Like, the truth is definitely coming out. God is really sending out his prophets like powerful than ever in his prophecies, and really getting his people back so that we can go ahead and make it to this promised land once again, and get out of the mental slavery that we have with our oppressors. And now I'm going to get into the Edoms, which is the Greeks, the Romans, and the USA, the white man who has taken over this land, who has taken over us, taken us into bondage, and the truth about slavery. The so-called blacks and Hispanics are the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the children of the slave trade. The prophets warned us that if we broke God's commandments, which is only 10 commandments, it's not that much to break. I mean, it's not that much to not follow. However, it happened. It is what it is. We would be punished as a people. Read Detronomy 28:15-68. This happened to no other nation. Okay, there was nobody else who went through what the blacks and the Hispanics have gone through as in slavery. We could say that the Arabs did, but even them was a part of the ethnic culture. So our children would be taken from us, given to another race of people, and we would do nothing to stop it from happening. Okay, that's the Lion of Judah, just laying down as in prey, having that cowardness, because we didn't do nothing to stop that. Detronomy 28:15. But if it shall come to pass, if thou shalt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake. We would also be forced to work for food, water, clothing, and anything else we may need. Chains of iron we put onto our necks until we are destroyed as a people. Detronomy 28:48. Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron around thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The yokes of iron were removed from our necks once we were mentally and spiritually destroyed as a people, divided into false religions and nationalities. And this really hurt my heart, because it's like, this is exactly what happened to us, our ancestries. Okay. And then it says, excuse me, and it just didn't just happen to the Judah or the tribes. It happened to all the tribes of Israel, so that's including the Indians, the American Indians, the West Indies, and also the Somalian Indians. Okay, so if they sin against God, Kings 8:48, if they sin against God, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them and deliver them to be the enemy. So they carry them away captives unto the land of the enemy, far and near. Detronomy 28:25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out of their way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Okay, and then I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about the Africans? What about the Egyptians? This passage is just so powerful. It says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably 96 years before the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but of the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Africans, the so-called Africans, which is really after America. I think it was a goddess or a queen named Africana, and she was over California, and they changed the name to Africans just to give us a title, just as they gave us the title of blacks or African Americans. So we won't get our real titles. They say Ham is the father of the African nations, not the Negroes. Okay? We fled into Africa after the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. Luke 21:20-22. Then we were captured during the slave trade and sold to the white man, Edom. Americans sold to the Negroes for guns. Abraham's sold Negroes as well. We were there wasn't just the first Middle Passage that was the first thing of slavery. It was the Atlantic slavery as well. When the Arabs had put us into slavery, when they took us out of Africa, when we were like they were different Moors, we were the Moors, and the Arabs wanted to conquer over the land of West Africa. And they had came over and put us into slavery first, and then it was slave as Negroes for the guns. We were slave, and they called us the Negroes to begin with, And then over the time, our names just kept changing as the confusion, as we continue to lose exactly who we are. Detronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, into bondage and slavery. Exodus 22. Again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there he shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. 200 million died during the conquest of the New World, America's Holocaust, and 100 million during the Middle Passage slave trade. And the Lord shall scatter thee among the people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there shall serve other gods, which neither thou nor their fathers have known, even wood and stone. Natives captured in Sennacherib. Okay, the Lord shall bring a nation unto thee. I'm going to turn this around so y'all can see it and read it. Okay, right here is where they say Ham, the son of Noah, born probably 19 years before the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Africans is Ham is the father of all the African nations, not the Negroes. Okay, and then we fled into Africa after the fall of Jerusalem. This has happened during the slave trade, when Negroes were sold for guns. And right here, when the Arabs had sold Negroes, the ships that came to Egypt to bring us into further bondage so that we can serve the Pharaoh in the Exodus. And then 200 years, 200 people who died during the passage. Right here, when the natives were captured by the Spaniards. Okay. And then right here it says, the Lord shall bring the nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When the white man came over, we didn't understand their language. We didn't know where they're coming from, but they had the different symbols of the eagle. The American elite, scholars, Freemasons know something we don't. They know that the blacks and the Hispanics are the Israelites, and that they still have us in captivity. To show this power of knowledge, they use symbology. Symbolism is very strong against the Freemasons. Like, I would know, I've studied that shit. And then there's that eagle right there. There is the Egyptian, and also the third eye detached from the body. That's like a mockery, like, haha, we see you, we know who you are, and we also still have you in bondage, just like in Egyptian times. Okay, the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt, bondage, slavery. Exodus 22, again with ships, by the way, whereof spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And then it says, Obadiah 1:4, through thy exalt themselves as the eagle, though they set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. Edom does space travel and landed on the moon. They said this in the Bible, okay? God been prophesies everything that ever happened in this world and everything that will happen. The Greeks with the ego, the Greeks, the Romans, these are our enemies right here. The USA, these are the Edomites and their empires. And the eagle has landed on the moon. Albeit shall I not in the day, said the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom. They're very smart, very, they're very wise, and try to, have us fall into their traps once using different, special words and languages to continue to brainwash us and misguide us and steal what is ours. And understand, out of the mount of Yeshua, and that mighty man of Otam shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Yeshua may be cut off by slaughter. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And this is, thou set thy nest among the stars. The eagle landed on the moon. And all that even wasn't even valid. Like, it's just crazy. Okay, Edom is a biblical name today, so-called white man. This is the same white man that led us into slavery captivity, started with Spain and then America, extension of the ancient Rome. Revelations 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience in the faith of the saints. And Yeshua said unto his father, hast thou but not one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Yeshua lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dwell of the heavens from above. And by thy sword shall thou live, and shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, and thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Romans 19:13, it is written, Jacob how I loved, but Yeshua have I hated. Definition: Edomites, read, the nation of his people who were the descendants of Yeshua, because Yeshua was also I believe was Jacob's. Oh no, Yeshua was. Oh shoot! So Yeshua and Jacob were brothers, but instead of Yeshua getting the blessings from his father Isaac, Jacob had took that blessing instead, and so he was told that he will be always on the heel of his brother, always right behind his brother. He might have some riches and receive some of the land like they have been able to prosper now, but at the end of the day, his brother, the higher power, is going to rise up above him. He found the country, so his name is acquainted with Edom. The country was also called Mount Seir, which was the name of the territory in which Edomites lived. And here, right here, pertaining to Edom, Greek and Roman name of Edom, Herod, ruler of Palestine. Line started with Antipater, from whom Jewish Caesar made procurator of Judah in 47 BC. Herod the Great, first procurator of Galilee, the king of Jews, built Caesarea, the temple of Jerusalem, slaughtered children at Bethlehem. The Edomites were converted to Judaism. They are called Jewish today. Okay, these are the fake Jews, the so-called Jews, but they're not really. The Bible says we were sold to the Greeks and would be removed from our homeland, Jerusalem. The children of the also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold into the great Grecians, that ye might remove them from their border. Christ reminded us, the Israelites, that we will soon go into slavery according to the scriptures, and another race will take over Jerusalem. And Luke 21:24, and they shall fall by the edge of their sword, and shall led away by captives in all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of Gentiles be fulfilled. And Obadiah 21:3, the pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, that thou dwellest in the clefts of the rock, and whose habitation is high, that soweth in the heart, who shall bring me down to the ground. And also read Jeremiah 16:14-15, Jeremiah 17:4, Psalms 83:4, Romans 9:25-27. Christ came to save his people Israel from their sins, redeeming them from the curses of slavery. Our bondage is mental, spiritual, and physical, with which no one else on earth can do. He and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call him Jesus, for he shall serve his people from their sins. Christ's death and resurrection made a new covenant with Israel to be a God's chosen people again. Hebrew 8:10, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And here's the tribes of Israel again. And I just thought that was so powerful right then and right there. And that's all because, I was trying to get this information, and all this came to me in the right time, and it all started to make sense. And I'm going to be making a lot more videos on this as I discover more, as I continue on my path and my purpose to find out what is truth and what is light. And I just wanted to show the clouds because it just looked so beautiful, and the sun, it was coming out, and everything was just making sense. So that's what I have for you. I hope all is well. I'm sending you lots of love, peace, and alignment, and hope all is well, and that you have a very beautiful, magnificent day, and that you actually really start to read the Bible for yourself instead of letting all these other people and other things tell you what it is, and also not listen to our oppressors, because they came to steal, kill, and destroy, and also trick us into stealing our birthright from us. Peace.